Kia ora koutou. I am the casual Kiwi, and today we have a little bit of a time war, courtesy of YugiMonic, my fellow content creator. He and I have both put together two of our own spins on the Timelord archetype. He's going to be presenting more of a pure build, focused on the quick OTK, whereas mine is more of a hybrid variant. And like a lot of Timelord hybrids, the focus is very much board control. Tricklord has become much more budget friendly. YugiMonic does a lot of fun budget deck profiles that I've really enjoyed myself, that you can see over on his channel. And if you're looking to something you can pick up and play for a reasonably affordable price, he's definitely someone whose content you should check out. Today we'll be showcasing three of our favorite matches between our two builds. You might also notice that we have three Ash Blossom in the main rather than in my profile where we have the three Eater of Millions. Reason for this is the Eater of Millions effects to banish a monster face down upon attack really didn't feel like the best way to bring out what the Time Lords could do in either of our decks. And of course these were all just in good fun. But Ash Blossom definitely still gives pure Time Lord a lot of trouble with its ability to prevent fixing of the hand, which can be very important for getting that OTK on board. But the question does remain, will my Everyman hybrid be able to pull out a victory, or will pure Time Lord reign supreme on the day? Let's go to the replays. But I chose to showcase this duel because it really typifies the OTK ability of the pure Time Lord strategy, as well as the removal options you have available with a more control orientated build like you have with Tricklords. So diving in, I've got an okay hand, but mainly I'm just wanting to set up some graveyard options and some burn possibilities. I've got the reincarnation set. Now I will blind reincarnation, as you'll see, and I'll revisit this in the next showcase. But at the time it made a lot of sense. Now thankfully, this is important. So YugiMonic demonstrating here really well the sort of thing that is the Time Lord OTK. So usually you get Mission and either Sandion, or in this case Raffion. You burn your opponent down to 2k, and then you overlay into Gustav Max. Now, for it to work with the Raffion, you do need a monster which is 2000 attack or more, because it burns equal to the attack of one monster it battled. So in this case, he won't quite be able to get the OTK. So YugiMonic is going to show off one of the other rank 10 combos that you can do here in just a second. So this is number 77, the 7 Sins. Rather fitting, as Tricklords is my 7th deck profile on this channel that I would end up facing up against this card. So the key thing here is that this has actually got some protection to it, as well as being a 4k beater. If destroyed by battle or card effect, you can detach one XYZ material from this card instead. So it's almost got an effect very similar to what the Time Lords have. Also, you can detach 2 XYZ materials from this card and banish as many special summon monsters your opponent controls as possible. But if summons through the overlay method like this, it can't get that right away. So it is going to have to wait. But it is still a real problem, and he does have this Drowning Mirror Force set as well that I do need to be conscious of. But this is where my Time Lords are going to come in helpful. So I'm going to be able to banish my Time Maiden to bring out Gabrion. So he is going to be able to shuffle that away. And for each card shuffled in the main deck, it's going to deliver some burn too. I am still very low on life points, however, and this combination of Time Lords is not what we're looking for. and he is able to finish me off. So that is the power of pure Time Lords. You know, lots of flexibility, lots of utility, and able to get a lot of burn on board very quickly. So it's going to be difficult to try and combat this. So let's see how I do in the second duel. So the second duel I really wanted to showcase with you guys because I know that some of you have been critical of my Cup of Ace challenge, the idea of building this deck around Cup of Ace. And you'll see over here that YugiMonic is using his Pot of Extravagance, breaking his usual budget options, but certainly a competitive option that a lot of people have been using in decks and have been praising to no end. Now the question will be, will it be enough to overcome the Cup of Ace plays in this duel? We shall have to see. So we have forced them to go first, which Time Lords really want to do. We've opened a lot of Trickstar plays, and so we'll go off with those. Light Stage, a real problem for those Mirror Force cards. This is exactly the sort of thing that we want to see with Double Licorice, but especially with Cup of Ace because it creates a situation where even if our opponent does draw, we are going to be able to burn them for those extra draws, and it is going to mean when we get the reincarnation down that we are going to be banishing more cards than we would otherwise. However, if we do get the draw, then we get that draw for free. So we'll see how this goes. And we are going to get that draw. That Mirror Force goes to the grave. There goes the Extravagance to get the extra burn. But he has gotten a very powerful number of Time Lords to his hand. And you can see there he does have the pieces for the OTK. Now you might wonder first off, why didn't we reincarnation earlier? Now this kind of goes back to the blind reincarnation. I very much felt that if I waited, then I'd be able to disrupt the play, see where he was going with the Time Lords. Whether it was YGO Pro or something I was missing around timing, I wasn't able to chain to the Celestial Transformation to prevent him getting Mission on board. Otherwise, I definitely would have done that. Unfortunately, no luck there, and he has got both Mission and Sandion on board. Let's go to main phase 2. And he's not going to be able to make the howitzer because it has been banished off of the extravagance. So remember that next time you're thinking about whether to fork out for extravagance or go for Cup of Ace. Cup of Ace is not going to banish your combo pieces. But I do think YugiMonic is making the best of a bad situation. Sky Palace is still a massive rank 10 beatstick, and it is going to pop that reincarnation to get a bit more burn on board. So we're going to draw to another copy of Cup of Ace. Again, going to have that double licorice on board. And again, we get the draws. And so we're ending with a 5-card hand. We are still only on that 1,000 life points though. So this is very touch and go. We'll take out that light stage. I'll get a few more options on board. I am able to ash his Time Maiden, so he won't be able to get Time Lord on board. I am wary of the Mirror Forces. Again, we played a few games this day. And with the reincarnation, we'll be able to finish the game. Again, definitely touch and go there. It was very unfortunate, the cards that got banished off of that extravagance. But again, I think YugiMonic definitely kept himself in the game there, and things could have gone very differently. Without further ado, let's go into the third and final replay. So on to the third and possibly my favourite replay. We'll again have YugiMonic going first and I'll be going second. This is a duel where you should keep an eye out for celestial transformation and also for 2k damage. Those two factors will be very important in this duel. Also, Typhoon. Who knew that it was a hand trap? I certainly didn't, and I will be trying that out myself, I think. Thank you, YugiMonic, for drawing my attention to Typhoon. So he'll have Mystical Typhoon in there to prevent my light stage. I will go to some Timelord plays double Lazion to get 2k damage on board. He'll summon Sandion and get out Mishion. Because he's used Time Maiden to do this, he cannot overlay into Gustav Max. However, he is able to get me down to 2k. Time Lord shuffle back, but I do have my Trickstars to follow up with. Celestial Transformation comes down. Typhoon hits me as well. And I go into Baguska. This card is so good against so many decks. If you can play rank 4s, have a Baguska in there. It really helps you turn the game around. Yugi-Monic's unable to activate his Time Lords. He does try for Gustav Max, but unfortunately it's negated as well. He cannot get the 2k damage. He's going to keep searching for options. And because the licorice effects are continuous, that is why they are still activating. Borrello Dragon, again, another awesome option, which has also become a lot more affordable to use. And I'll have that Gustav Max, thank you very much. And I'm able to get in 2k damage there. He will go to Indulgence, get out my Tidon, and this will allow him to out my Borrelode. Do top decker Time Maiden Lazion to get another 1000k burn. Unfortunately, he does top deck the Sandion, and that will be enough for the 2k for game. I mean, I think this was an excellent example of two ways to play around with the deck. Again, part of why I love this archetype is that it's so flexible, and I think YugiMonic has put a lot of thought into his build, and you can see that in YugiMonic's deck how much you can get out of your Time Lords. And hopefully with mine you've seen a little bit of how they can support something like Trickstars, providing those other removal and burn options that they would always have access to. Again, thank you so much to YugiMonic for collaborating with me on this. He is a fantastic Yugi-tuber, and you'll be able to find links to his channel and his version of our duels together over on his channel. So thank you for watching these replays. Again, it was so much fun. Ngā mihi for now, and good night.